What if the man you mocked for being beneath you turned out to be the one holding the key to your destiny? Stay with me to the end, because this story will change the way you see humility and success. If you love stories about justice and redemption, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video, because this one is unforgettable. The Ferrari roared no more. Its red body gleamed under the California sun, but the engine was dead, silent as the pride of the man who owned it. Victor Hensley, a millionaire car collector, stood with a smirk. "I told you, no one can fix her," he said, brushing invisible dust from his tailored suit. "She's art, not meant for the hands of amateurs." He glanced at the man standing opposite him, Jeremiah Brooks, a black mechanic from the small town of Inglewood. His coveralls were faded, his hands scarred from years of work. But his eyes, steady and intelligent, didn't waver. "I can fix it," Jeremiah said quietly. Victor's chuckle dripped with mockery. "You? This car's worth more than your entire shop, Brooks. Tell you what, if you can make it run, it's yours." He tossed the keys with a smirk. "Deal." Jeremiah caught the midair, his jaw tightening. "Deal." Hours later, Jeremiah stood over the open hood. The Ferrari's heart, a V12 engine, was a mess. Wires crossed, bolts missing, and the computer system fried. Someone had clearly tampered with it. Victor leaned against the garage wall, scrolling through his phone. "You'll never get it," he said. "Even my experts couldn't." Jeremiah didn't respond. He just worked, precise, patient, silent. His father had taught him to fix engines when he was 12. "Respect the machine," his father would say. "It tells you what's wrong if you listen." By nightfall, the garage was quiet except for the soft click of tools. Sweat traced down Jeremiah's temple, and with one last turn of the wrench, he whispered, "Come on, baby. Talk to me." He twisted the ignition. The engine roared to life, loud, clean, powerful. Victor's head snapped up, disbelief washing over his face. "What the hell?" Jeremiah stepped aside. "Just needed someone who cared more about fixing than showing off." Victor's mouth hung open. The deal was binding. "I was joking," he muttered, his face pale. Jeremiah crossed his arms. "But I wasn't." A man in a gray suit entered his shop one morning, an older gentleman with kind eyes. "Mr. Brooks," he said softly, "I'm Arthur Langston, Victor's late father's former business partner." Jeremiah blinked. "What can I do for you?" Arthur smiled faintly. "I came to tell you something Victor doesn't want anyone to know." He placed a small envelope on the counter. Inside was a faded photo, a young black mechanic shaking hands with a man beside a Ferrari prototype. "That man," Arthur said, pointing, "was your father. He helped design the original engine model. Without him, the Hensleys wouldn't even have their car collection." Jeremiah froze. "My father worked for Victor's father?" Arthur nodded. "More than that. Your father saved their company during bankruptcy. But he was never credited. Victor's father regretted it deeply before he died. This car was supposed to go to your family." Jeremiah's breath caught. Suddenly, everything made sense, the connection, the craftsmanship, the pull he'd felt toward the car. Arthur continued, "Victor never respected what his father built, or who helped him build it. But you, Mr. Brooks, you carry that legacy." Jeremiah looked at the Ferrari, emotions swirling, pride, pain, peace. Then maybe it found its way home. Victor arrived later that afternoon, furious. "You think you could just take what's mine?" Jeremiah didn't argue. He simply handed him a document, notarized, signed by Arthur. It proved his father's co-inventorship of the Ferrari's custom engine design. The law sided with Jeremiah. The Ferrari was officially his, and the truth, now public, destroyed Victor's reputation. As reporters crowded his garage, Jeremiah stood tall. "My father taught me that respect and patience build more than engines. They build legacies. No man can take that away." The weeks that followed Jeremiah's victory were a blur of lights, cameras, and congratulations. His small garage, once quiet, dusty, and ignored, was now the heart of national headlines. From mechanic to millionaire, the man who fixed his destiny. Big brands wanted to sponsor him. Car companies sent offers. Even a reality show producer called, promising fame and fortune. But Jeremiah wasn't used to that kind of world. He fixed things. He didn't sell them. Still, it was hard not to be swept up in it all, especially when the money started rolling in. One morning, his friend Marcus, who had always believed in him, said, "Jay, this is your moment, man. Don't let it slip. Build the Brooks Legacy Garage. Make it big." Jeremiah smiled. "You think people would actually come here?" Marcus laughed. "They already are. You're the man who humbled a millionaire. Everyone loves that story." They didn't know, then, that fame had its own kind of corrosion. A few months later, Jeremiah's new shop was booming. Chrome-plated floors, shining tools, and a growing staff of young mechanics he'd hired from the community. He wanted to give kids who were like him, a little lost, a little underestimated, a chance to learn a trade. It was everything he'd dreamed of. Then, one morning, a sleek black Rolls-Royce pulled up. Out stepped Victor Hensley. He looked different, thinner, eyes shadowed, pride cracked. "Jeremiah," he said quietly, "we need to talk." The room went silent. Jeremiah crossed his arms. "You've got a lot of nerve showing up here." Victor nodded. "I deserve that. But I didn't come to fight. I came to apologize." The words hung in the air like oil on water. Victor continued, "After what happened, I lost a lot. My investors, my reputation, even my wife left. I was angry, but I realized it wasn't your fault. It was mine. I mocked you because I saw in you what I used to be before money ruined me." Jeremiah said nothing. "I came to ask if you'd help me rebuild," Victor said. "Not my pride, my purpose. You got what I lost. Respect. Teach me that again." Marcus whispered, "Jay, don't trust him. This could be another trick." But Jeremiah looked into Victor's eyes and saw something unfamiliar: humility. He sighed. "You want to work here?" Victor nodded. "If you'll have me." Jeremiah extended a hand, then grabbed a wrench. For weeks, the millionaire-turned-student worked beside the man he once humiliated. He swept floors, tightened bolts, and listened. Slowly, the tension in the shop turned into something like respect. One afternoon, while working on a client's Bentley, Victor asked, "How'd you do it? How did you forgive me?" Jeremiah paused. "Because hate's a heavy engine, Victor. It burns out the soul faster than any car ever could." Victor smiled faintly. "Guess I've been running on the wrong fuel. It should have been a turning point, an end to the rivalry. But life doesn't stop testing you once you've passed one exam. It just changes the subject." A man named Carter Vance entered the picture next, a slick-talking entrepreneur who saw Jeremiah's fame as a gold mine. "Mr. Brooks," he said one afternoon, stepping into the garage in a designer's suit, "I represent Torque Media. We want to invest in your story. TV shows, car brands, merchandise. You'll be bigger than West Coast Customs." Victor frowned immediately. "This guy's trouble," he muttered. But Jeremiah, eager to expand, listened. Carter continued, "All we need is control over your image. You keep doing what you do best, we handle the business." Jeremiah hesitated. "And if I say no?" Carter smiled coldly. "Then someone else will. Fame doesn't wait, Mr. Brooks." Against Victor's warning, Jeremiah signed the deal. Months later, Torque Media rebranded his story, twisting it for drama. They made Victor look like a villain again, Jeremiah like a miracle-working saint. TV producers staged fake surprises, forcing him into scripted emotional moments. Jeremiah hated it. "This isn't real," he told Carter. Carter laughed. "Reality doesn't sell, Jeremiah. Stories do." Meanwhile, the community that once loved him started whispering. He changed. He forgot where he came from. He's just another sellout now. And in that noise, Jeremiah began losing the thing that made him special: his heart for people. One night, he found Victor sitting by the Ferrari in the darkened garage. "You're losing yourself, Jay," Victor said softly. "You gave that company the right to use your father's name. They're selling your story as theirs." Jeremiah's throat tightened. "I thought I was doing the right thing." Victor nodded slowly. "So did I once. Money blinds faster than arrogance." Jeremiah clenched his fists. "How do I fix it?" Victor looked up at him. "The same way you fix that car. Take it apart, piece by piece, until you find what broke." The next morning, Jeremiah made a bold move. At a televised event meant to announce Brooks X Torque Motors, he walked onto the stage with a microphone. Cameras flashed. Carter smiled proudly, until Jeremiah began speaking. I signed a deal that sold not just my name, but my father's memory, Jeremiah said, voice steady. I let greed twist a story that was never about fame. It was about respect, and about never letting anyone tell you your worth. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Carter's smile vanished. Jeremiah, don't do this. Jeremiah cut him off. I hereby terminate my partnership with Torque Media. Effective immediately. He looked straight into the camera. And to every mechanic, every worker, every person who's ever been laughed at, I see you. Don't let success silence your soul. The audience erupted in applause. Victor watched from backstage, tears in his eyes. In the weeks that followed, Jeremiah rebuilt his business, smaller, quieter, but real again. Victor stayed by his side, now a partner in rebuilding the community's faith through workshops and mentorship programs. One day, as they stood in front of the Ferrari, Victor asked, "Do you ever wish you hadn't taken that bet?" Jeremiah smiled. "If I hadn't, I'd still be fixing engines. Now I fix lives." Victor chuckled. "You fix mine." Jeremiah looked at the Ferrari, the sunlight glinting off its hood. "Then I guess we both found what really makes an engine run. Heart. In final moral, mais outro. True success isn't what you own, it's what you restore. The real power lies not in revenge or fame, but in forgiveness and staying true to who you are. Would you have forgiven Victor if you were in Jeremiah's shoes? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more stories that prove, even when life breaks you down, faith can start you up again.